Good morning. Hi everyone. Out here on my long run today, and it's quite early. The sun's yet to come up. Maybe it's a little cloudy today. Kind of a pleasant morning to start the day. Hey everyone, hope everybody is doing fine. I'm about to start my long run. It's Saturday and I have a 24 kilometers long run charted out for today, around 15 miles I believe. So in today's run I'm going to talk about stretching, the kind of stretching I do, and dynamic versus static stretching. What kind of stretching to do during the warm-up and what kind of stretching to do during cool downs, and why, what impact does it have on your exercise. So I'm going to talk about that in today's run. Apart from that, I'm also going to update you on how this week's workout has been. I'm going to be running Amsterdam Marathon in October, so this is my vlog on my preparation for it. So I'm posting every week on how my workouts are going and what kind of workout I'm doing. So if you think those kind of content could help you, please do like and follow this channel. So let's go for the run. So today I'm doing a 24 kilometer workout, as I said before, at around RPE 5. That's roughly 520 to 540 minutes per kilometer. So it's not that fast today, but the distance is 24 kilometers. So I started out a little early because it starts to get really sunny after a while. But it looks like it's going to be cloudy today, so that should be good. Okay, so 5k done. Just taking a break to talk. So yeah, I was going to talk about the dynamic versus static stretching. So dynamic stretching is something you do before the workout, it's a part of the warm-up. So and static is something you do after the workout, specifically during the cool down period or after the run. So the difference between dynamic and static stretching is that dynamic stretching involves movements that mimic your activity. For example, for running, we use a certain set of muscles. So dynamic stretching targets the movement of those muscles, particular muscle groups, so that you get them moving, you get the blood circulation going for those muscles, and it helps it warm up and sort of prepare for the kind of motion that you're going to do. So it involves certain short motions, short and fast motions. So it helps in improving your performance, particularly running, jumping, sprinting motions, etc. So that's what dynamic stretching is all about. And static stretching involves stretching your joints to a particular extent so that your muscles are restored to their original position, original length. When you do running, for example, your muscles shorten a little bit because of the exercise. So you need to do static stretching to extend them back, to stretch them back to that level, so that the joint, the range of motion goes back to the original levels, to the normal levels. So static stretching helps in reducing the stiffness after workouts and gives you better recovery rates. So both of them are important, dynamic and static stretching, but they have the uses as per the timing before and after the workout. So let me get back to the run now. Almost 12k done. I took a snack break and a water break. So I was talking about dynamic and static stretching. So in terms of dynamic stretching, there are quite a few standard exercises that you can do. You can see it on a lot of runners and running influencers profiles. They keep sharing those kind of workouts. Particularly for me, I usually start out with some amount of pogo hopping, we call it. It's like skipping on the same spot, hopping, so kind of warming up your ankles, your calves. Then I go for a bit of a, what do you call it, step jump thing on a curb. So I pick up sort of a step or a curb, and I try to do some stepping exercises on it. So it helps me warm up a little bit, gets my lungs going. So a little bit of a fast motion, a rapid motion, to give you that running sense. And also sometimes I do a little bit of a jogging to warm up. Of course that's pretty standard, and that goes without saying. Then of course the leg pendulums, those are pretty critical. Leg pendulums, you swing your legs front and back and sideways as well. So you do around 10 to 12 reps each for each of your legs. So that's the third exercise. And lastly, I stretch my legs a little bit. I don't know what you call it, but it goes like you you put your step forward and keep it straight, and you try to touch the floor on both sides of your hands. So that's sort of to, it's kind of like a static stretch, I think, but it's a very short duration stretch. So it's quite beneficial to wake up your legs and stretch it a little bit to give it the kind of range you need for the running. So those are the standard exercises I do usually for dynamic stretching. For static stretching, after your usual running, for usually I stretch my calves a little bit, around 35 to 40 seconds or actually more sometimes, to stretch out the calves, to stretch out the hamstrings. You touch your toes and try to stretch as much as possible, and also you try to stretch out your glutes a little bit. You know, the glutes are actually pretty critical, and if you do a lot of long runs, a lot of runs, a lot of mileage in a week, your glutes tend to tighten up a little bit. So those are three basic stretches I do after the workouts, after the running. But when I get home, usually if I have heavy workouts, I also do some additional stretching. So you stretch out on the yoga mat, stretch out your glutes again, stretch out your calves again, and try to stretch your hips a little bit, because your hips get tight, your glutes get tight. So those are the basic things that you need to do to be able to keep yourself injury free and help your recovery better. So I'm just going to go ahead now and complete my run. 12 kilometers done, and I'm pretty much behind schedule, so I have a lot of catching up to do halfway through. So I'll just catch up with you once I'm done with this.
Hey guys, I'm sorry I wasn't able to continue shooting yesterday because it started raining really heavily and I wasn't able to take out the camera again. But I continued the run and I was not able to do the target pace yesterday, unfortunately. But you know, shit happens. Sometimes you just are not in the right state of mind or not in the right physical condition to be able to deliver everything. So that's all right. The whole of last week was kind of a mixed bag. I started off Monday with an easy run and speed workout entwined, and then I had an easy run on Tuesday, and then Wednesday again I had a set of intervals. It was a very tough workout and I was kind of nervous before doing it, but my coach said that I could crush it, so I did. It was a set of 3 intervals. First was at my 10k pace, second was at my 21k pace, and the third one was at my 1500 meters pace, varying around 410, 420 to around 330, 340 minutes per kilometer pace. So I did a workout, it went pretty well and I was quite happy. And then I had a Thursday at the gym, worked out with some amount of weights, the usual strength workouts. And then I had an easy run on Friday, and finally yesterday's run, Saturday's run, 24 kilometers or 15 miles, which didn't go so well. So yeah, I mean, throughout the week it was pretty good, and the last day was not so good. But anyway, that happens. So we move on. Next week I have a target of 62 kilometers, another set of tough workouts coming up. So my coach has kind of changed the pattern for my workouts. Now I'm doing tough workouts on 2 days in particular, faster workouts on 2 days in particular. Mondays I do easy and a speed workout later on the later half, and then on Wednesdays I do the intervals, and then I have the Saturdays of the long runs, which you need to build the endurance for your workouts. Earlier during the run yesterday, I was talking about stretching. I decided to add that into the talk, the long run talk that I decided to continue, because stretching is such a critical part of our regime. As you do heavier workouts, as you do more amount of running, it becomes really critical to take care of those finer aspects, because first of all, when you're out to run in the morning, or in the evening, you need to be warmed up enough. You need to loosen up your muscles so that you don't get injured, because when you're early into the run, your body doesn't warm up. If your body isn't warmed up, then you might just hurt yourself somewhere, because it's totally unnecessary and can be avoided. So that's why I decided to talk a little bit about the kind of workouts that I do, which sort of helps me avoid, touchwood, has helped me avoid injuries in the last 3 or 4 years. And also the cool down, and during the cool down it's really critical to do the static stretching, because after heavy workouts especially, your body is quite sore and you don't recover very easily. So that's one aspect of it. The second part of it is, after heavy workouts, your muscles tend to shorten a little bit. So you need to take care of that. If you don't take care of that, then it'll start hurting at some point in time. It'll start damaging you at some point in time if it doesn't come back to the same position. Or you might just deter your next workout, hamper your next workout. So it's better you do some amount of static stretching in the end of the workout so that your muscle length is restored to a certain level. And also, if possible, get back home and do some amount of foam rolling, because that again helps you recover much better. It helps you reduce the stress, the tension, because when the muscles are tight, there is some amount of tension in the muscle. So if you do foam rolling, it sort of reduces the stress in that muscle. So those are the two things I wanted to touch upon in the long run, and I really wanted to talk more about it during the run, but unfortunately it started pouring cats and dogs. So anyway, and this week another thing happened. I got rejected in the London Marathon ballot, which I think is quite common because a lot of people apply for it, and it's so difficult to get in. But it's alright. I mean, I have been rejected multiple times in multiple ballots so far since last year, but it's fine. I think it just leaves me open for another marathon, some other marathon during spring next year. So maybe I'll do Paris Marathon or some other ballot if I get through. So let's see how it goes, and if you have any suggestions on what I should aim for, which marathon is really great for spring, and something that is one of your favorites, just leave a comment in this video and I'll try to respond to you, and if I can take up that advice and run that, and I'll be really grateful. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more updates from me. This October 15th I'm going to be running the Amsterdam Marathon, if fingers crossed, if everything goes well. And this is my update for this week. So I'll see you next week. Stay tuned. Please do like and subscribe this video. Thank you for watching. Cheers.